made peace with my past. Not because it was kind, not because it was gentle, and not because it suddenly made sense. I made peace with it because carrying it forward was costing me my future. For a long time, the past lived louder than the present. It showed up in my thoughts, in my reactions, in the way I trusted, in the way I guarded myself. I replayed moments like they were unfinished conversations, like if I thought hard enough, I could rewrite the ending. Every mistake felt permanent. Every failure felt personal. Every loss felt like proof that something was wrong with me. I blamed myself for things I didn't understand back then, for choices made under pressure, for decisions made while afraid, for surviving the only way I knew how. But time has a way of sharpening perspective, and one day I realized something quietly devastating. I was judging an old version of myself with wisdom earned from pain I hadn't survived yet. That wasn't fairness. That was cruelty. So I stopped punishing myself for not being who I am now back then. I acknowledged the truth. I didn't have clarity. I didn't have support. I didn't have the strength I have today. I had instinct, and instinct kept me alive. There were moments I stayed too long, trusted too deeply, ignored signs I see clearly now. But hindsight is not courage, it's just vision, and survival doesn't wait for perfect decisions. There were people who hurt me, people who walked away without accountability, people who took pieces of me and never looked back. I held on to anger because it felt like justice. But anger is heavy, and I was tired. Tired of carrying resentment like a responsibility. Tired of reliving moments that no longer existed. So I let it go. Not because they deserved forgiveness, but because I deserved peace. I stopped waiting for apologies that were never coming. Stopped expecting closure from people who found comfort in silence. Some people will never explain themselves. Some stories will never resolve cleanly. And that has to be enough. I also forgave myself. That was the hardest part. I forgave myself for the boundaries I didn't set, for the warnings I ignored, for the love I gave to people who didn't know how to hold it. I forgave myself for becoming guarded, for becoming quiet, for becoming different. Because pain changes you, and pretending it doesn't only delays healing. Peace didn't arrive dramatically. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like relief, like putting down a weight I forgot I was carrying. The past stopped screaming. It started whispering, and even then, it no longer controlled me. I don't deny what happened. I don't romanticize it either. I accept it. The good, the bad, the versions of me that were confused, scared, and learning. I carry the lessons now, not the wounds. I learned discernment. I learned restraint. I learned the difference between loneliness and solitude. I learned that healing is not about erasing memories. It's about removing their power. Some memories still surface, late at night, in quiet moments, but they don't pull me backward. They remind me that I survived things that once felt unbearable. They remind me why I move differently now, why I protect my peace, why I choose carefully. The past shaped my depth, but it does not define my direction. It doesn't dictate my future. It doesn't control my worth. It doesn't decide how I love or who I become. I've stopped living in regret. stopped reopening doors that were closed for a reason. The past can knock. It can remind. It can try to tempt me into old emotions. But it no longer lives here. I made peace with my past because I want a future that isn't haunted. Because I refuse to let yesterday ruin tomorrow. Because healing isn't forgetting. It's understanding without self-destruction. I made peace with my past. And in that peace, I finally gave myself the freedom to move forward.